Witam wszystkich bardzo, bardzo serdecznie. Mam dla Was dzisiaj kolejną niespodziankę. Słuchajcie, zaprosiłam Shahina Jediana z Los Angeles, obecnie jest w Turcji. I opowie Wam dzisiaj o Kabbale, początkach Kabbały. Welcome, Shahin, to our audience in Poland specifically. So I'm going to do my best to translate today your words. How are you doing there?
Hi, Joanna. Thank you so much for having me. This is incredibly exciting to come back to this wonderful, amazing show for the third time and to do this together. I'm particularly excited because we're not only going to speak this in the combination of so many powerful languages like the Hebrew, Aramaic, and the English, but you're going to actually transmit it with your wonderful energy to Polish language. Is that, am I saying that well? Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really, really excited to reach these powerful words across the globe to the wonderful people, wonderful, amazing, loving souls that are seeking so much more growth and transformation and consciousness.
Shahin Was pozdrawia i wszystkich tych, którzy mieszkają w Polsce, żeby ta jego wiadomość i to, co może będzie chciał się z Wami podzielić. Ja tutaj dokładnie nie tłumaczę, no bo on mnie pozdrawia i tutaj mam nadzieję, że ja spełnię ze swojej strony wszystko, co będę mogła, żeby dobrze te słowa przetłumaczyć, szczególnie, że on będzie mówił, Shahin mówi po aramejsku, czyta aramejski, arabski, o ile się nie pomyliłam tutaj. No i oczywiście tam jeszcze kilka języków. I didn't ask you actually, are you speaking Aramaic, Arabic, and what more languages except of English, of course?
You mean in today's lesson or in general?
In general.
Okay, so my languages, I grew up with Farsi until I was like 9 years old. Then when I moved to Europe and then eventually Beverly Hills, I learned English, right? So the language of spirituality for me is in Hebrew and Aramaic, not Arabic, Hebrew and Aramaic, although I also know Arabic to a large extent because of the similarity of form from Farsi, Persian, to Arabic. Another language, mystical language that we'll be incorporating into these teachings today is Rashi, which is he lived 800 years ago, and he was a French Kabbalist who made his own language combined with Hebrew in order to keep these secrets in a way that it won't be invaded by news and other places that would try to alter the teachings. So there we have 4 languages combined, 2 of them being powerful spiritual languages that have been here since the time of creation, and one of them being actually made by Rashi.
I hope, mam nadzieję, że słuchajcie, że ci z Was, które mówią po angielsku, zrozumieliście. Jak coś, to bardzo proszę komentować, poprawiać mnie, bo nie jestem w stanie wszystkiego dokładnie tutaj przetłumaczyć, ale postaram się chociaż, żeby miało to jakiś sens. Dla niego te języki są też mistyczne. Farsi, potem nauczył się angielskiego, kiedy przeprowadził się do Beverly Hills, i dla niego język mistyczny jest hebrajski, aramejski i wspomina o Rashi, francuskim kabaliście. I forgot, was 800 years ago, the Rashi, French Kabbalist.
That's right. Rashi is an acronym for Rav Shimon Yitzchaki. That was his full name. So we say it quickly because it's quoted so many times that people want to say it quickly. Yeah.
Aha, tego nie przetłumaczę. Tego, co on powiedział, teraz nie przetłumaczę, bo nie wiem, nie jestem w stanie. Słuchajcie, teraz zapytam się Shahina o tą płytkę, którą on ma na głowie, bo to ja poprosiłam go, żeby on to założył, bo chciałam, żeby zostało to wytłumaczone, co to jest. Jego ubiór dzisiejszy i ta jego, wygląda jak płyta CD, prawda? Ale nie jest, zapewniam, że nie jest. So I will first ask you about why you dress the way you dressed, and I ask you for it specifically today. So please explain, what is that cloak on your head?
Yes,
On you and on your head, the filament?
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much for bringing that up, actually. I'm glad that we're raising some curiosity in order to get into this. So there's 2 elements here that I'm wearing. There's actually 3. There's a third one here. I'll talk about that if I have time also.
Oh, yes.
That's right. Yeah. So the first element I'll go into is the cloak. which is made out of cloth. On top of this cloak, you will see these powerful Hebrew letters, right? And I'm going to show you an even more ancient version of this writing. Let's see. It is right. Ta-da. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, Joanna here and everybody watching. This might actually remind you.
Perfect.
It's good. This might actually remind you of a similarity in form to Egyptian writings. But you'll see here that actually the Hebrew letters predate the Egyptian writings. And the reason for that is because this ancient writing goes back to 5,780 years ago, whereas the Egyptian writings that we see began a little later than that. So the Hebrew language, 5,780 years.
Or BC, right?
Oh,
yeah, of course.
Well, yes. Well, we're talking about, when I say 5,780, we're talking about from the lunar calendar, from the date of creation, right? So, by the way, if you go to your iPhone, I actually spoke with Apple and I made sure that they put the lunar calendar as part of the native calendar of the iPhone. So now you can activate your Hebrew calendar and it will actually start your phone by saying 5,780 years from creation. And it'll tell you the new moons and the full moons and the dates of the lunar calendar right inside your native calendar of your iPhone. So that's an accomplishment I feel like has been amazing for all of us, because we get to now connect with the year of creation instead of just a man-made year. So now, this language is what I'm cloaked in, literally, right? I'm cloaked in this language right now, right? And the idea is that I'll take a few different approaches. Let's look at science. Let's look at it scientifically first, okay?
Let me translate that, okay? Just let me translate that.
Sure, go for it. I'm excited. While you translate, I'm going to be sending some energy healing to everyone.
All right, go for that. Ten płaszcz, który on na sobie ma, on jest cały w tym hebrajskim napisach, które są podobne, tak jak w książce widzieliście, do egipskiego starożytnego pisma, datowanego na 5780 przed naszą erą. I mówi, że napisał do Apple, żeby aktywowali kalendarz księżycowy i że można go sobie w tej chwili zainstalować, jeśli ktoś ma właśnie tego Apple. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, great. So what I was about to say is that as science is catching up with the vibrational system, the system of frequencies that we've known about since 5,780 years ago, since the birth of Adam, or so to speak, the birth of the first visible human being on Earth. One of the elements that science has been discussing in quantum physicists have been discussing is actually the superstring theory, or the string theory as they call it. And it talks about the 10 dimensions of reality, that there are 10 dimensions, 10 universes occurring at the same time all the time. That means there is a universe where, for example, Jack lost his father to a car accident, and there's another universe where the person that got lost in a car accident never died. It's still here. Our eyes of flesh translate reality in 10 different dimensions, okay? And that when we close our eyes, as soon as I close my eyes, the reality of flesh, of duality, of what we see, the physical universe, the solid reality where everything looks so solid, actually goes back to its true reality, which is wave consciousness and the movement of the molecules and everything not really being solid, right? Now, this experience has been discussed on Mount Sinai, where we experienced the nation that came out of Egypt that received this powerful 10 utterances. And it says in these words, in the Hebrew words, V'ha'am ro'im et hakolot, that the people were able to see the voices and they were able to hear the visuals, right? Which is a paranormal activity, right? And, you know, when I was in my training for hypnosis, and the reason I went to training for hypnosis was because there was so many meditative elements that I already had in the transmission of the teachings that came to me from Adam to Abraham to Moses to Aaron to King Solomon, King David, my lineage all the way to 2,000 years of being in the East and finally being transmitted to me. One of the things that I realized was I was so curious to learn more about the integrative psychology of how hypnotic reality looks at this. And Lord and behold, I found out that in hypnosis, there's a discussion about getting into a very powerful regression state where you begin to see the voices and hear the visuals, right? Where
Can you hold that thought, please?
Yeah, go for it.
I will try. Słuchajcie, ja mam nadzieję, że te osoby, które mówią po angielsku, naprawdę tutaj mogą mi pomóc chwilami. On mówi o systemie wibracji od urodzenia Adama, czy też, tak jak mówi, pierwszej osoby, która w materii się urodziła na Ziemi, została stworzona. I to, co fizycy kwantowi też dyskutują o tym, mówię o 10 wymiarach, które istnieją jednocześnie w uniwersum, czy też inne uniwersum, że jest takie, w którym ktoś miał wypadek i zginął, i takie, w którym nie było wypadku, bądź też ta osoba przeżyła. I mówi, że kiedy zamyka się oczy, dochodzi do czegoś takiego, że widzi się realność, to co jest naprawdę poprzez ruch tych cząsteczek, molekuł. I to też jest dyskutowane w tej fizyce kwantowej. Ta wiedza jest już i też obecna w starożytnym Egipcie i pewnie wcześniej. I przedpowiedział coś w swoim języku, ale chodzi o to, że dochodzi do tego, że można usłyszeć obrazy i zobaczyć głosy. W ten sposób, że jest to taki paradoks. Shahin był też miał trening hipnozy i w tym treningu właśnie poprzez ten regressing, wędrówce dusz, wszedł też takie stany, gdzie zrozumiał, co to znaczy zobaczyć głosy i usłyszeć obrazy. I zaraz wam więcej o tym opowiem. Okay, so we started to talk about this. So is it protecting you? What is this cloak about?
Great. Good question. First of all, by the way, I'm really, really amazed and astounded at how you remember all this and you translate it. So
I'm not.
That's kind of was running in my thoughts right now. I was like, at first I was like working with the healing energy as you were doing it, and then at some point a thought came to me. Is like, how is Johanna actually doing this? How does she remember and letting this channel through? And I remember that you had mentioned like that you're seeking this energy to come through you, so it's really powerful. So before I do that, I just want to clap for the light force that's going through you.
Thank you.
Through all of us.
I feel the chills right now, but regarding that, on się po prostu zastanawia, jak ja wam to tłumaczę, ale wy wiecie dobrze, że ja wam tego tak dokładnie nie tłumaczę. Ale on o tym nie wie. Ja mu to powiem. Okay, so what is that cloak? Is it protecting you? What is that for? Before you go to the whole lineage, and I will ask you that.
That's a good question. Well, there's so many elements to this, but I would say the most powerful element is that before the experience of these teachings, before the experience of the vibrations, before the experience of the light force being expressed, there had to be a channel, a reference point, so to speak, an artistic form where the channel of the light force can come to us in humanity in a way that it can be received. Some call it angels, some call it aliens, some call it symbols, some call it analogies, some call it letters, which in Hebrew is called ot, which means a signal, literally, or a frequency, which is really interesting. In the Hebrew language, there is no word for letters. The word is ot, and the word ot means frequency, right? So in the beginning, in terms of the Hebrew spiritual quantum code of the Torah, it talks about Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. That the words, the first words of the book of Genesis, which is the corrupted version of that, has been translated in English, and that's why there's so many wars and religious issues and misunderstandings. And I'll tell you some of the misunderstandings right now. So the first verse says, in the beginning of God's creation, there was heaven and earth created, right? That's the corrupted translation in English, okay? Now I'm going to tell you what it really says. It says, Bereshit bara Elohim et. It says, in the beginning of the 6 compactified universes, which there is 10 elements of the Sphirot, 10 dimensions of reality, because the word Bereshit means Barashit. The Creator created the 6 lower level ones, the 1 under, and the 3 upper ones. So you have 7 chakras and 3 upper ones, which is the 10 totality. So all in that one word, the code of all of existence and dimensions exists. Bara, created. Et, what did the Creator first? What is the first thought of creation? First thought was to create Et, which is Aleph through Taf, or some people call it ET, right? Extraterrestrial. Aleph through Taf, which in English would be A to Z. Right? Aleph through Taf, which in English would be A to Z. But in Hebrew language, we have A to T, not A to Z, okay? So the beginning of God's creation, God's first, or so to speak, that light force, that creative force, first created these letters. Now, these letters are shining through. They're not just over here on this cloak, you see them as written letters, but essentially they're channels of the light being limited so that we as human beings can handle it, just like the ozone layer for the sun, so we don't burn, right? So the letters, or the frequency channels, called the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, 22 of them exactly, were created as the first part of creation, and then through those, the heaven and earth and the astrological and zodiac was created. So,
wow.
These letters are cloaked here so that the light can be transmuted, transmigrated, moved in a vibration that is attainable by me in a physical body. Just like I have a body. Why do I need a body? It's because the light of the soul is way too much to handle in a physical world like this. We need a body for it to shine through, to contain it, to give it a definition, to be able to shine in a way that can be handled by the average person.
I will try. I hope
I gave you a lot to translate there. So while you do that, I'll be sending healing at the same time, energy frequency.
That's good, that's good. I hope everyone will benefit from that. Podczas kiedy ja będę próbowała jakoś powiedzieć, co ja z tego zrozumiałam i jak to mogę przetłumaczyć, on tutaj mówi, że będzie wysyłał leczącą energię, że ma te tam swoje metody, więc mam nadzieję, jestem ciekawa, na kogo podziała. Powiedzcie mi o tym potem. Co to znaczy ta jego szata? Z tego, co zrozumiałam, ta szata oznacza symbol tego całego stworzenia. On jakby zakłada to na siebie. To jest pewnego rodzaju symbol. Mówi, że na początku były to co w stworzeniu, że cały ten język został w Biblii skorumpowany z tych tłumaczeniach i w związku z tym powstało wiele, było krwawo w historii. I mówi o tym, że było 6 tych poziomów, niższych, średnich i wysokich. Łączy to z czakrami, tak jak było to stworzone, całe te wszechświaty, wszystkie. I on teraz użył takiego słowa Oli Fruitow. Mówi, że to też jest, w zależności od tego, co ktoś myśli, czy to jest ten Bóg, czy siła światła, która tworzy, i to jest związane z literami, tak jak mamy alfabet od A do Z. I to, i teraz już pomyliłam, ale bądźcie cierpliwi. I te elementy też łączą się, żeby zrozumieć te elementy, też łączą się z doświadczeniem wibracji, czyli tak naprawdę nawet nie chodzi do końca o te litery, tylko chodzi o doświadczanie wibracji tego stworzenia i jak to się przekłada na stworzenie człowieka, że dopiero to światło może się zamanifestować w istocie żywej i musi być do tego ten punkt referencyjny, czyli najpierw, czy niezależnie, czy to są aniołowie, kosmici, słowo, litery, na początku jest wibracja. I w księdze Genezis właśnie ta część, która było napisane, że Bóg stworzył niebo, jest już, same te słowa są skorumpowane, że one wcale tego nie oznaczają, czyli na początku to, co stworzył Bóg, to były te uniwersum na tych 6 niższych poziomach, wyższych i najwyższych. I to się też odnosi do astrologii. Wszystko to się właśnie łączy. Pewnie, żeby to dokładnie wytłumaczyć, musiałabym zrobić jakieś sesje, bądź jeśli macie na to ochotę, to poproszę Shahina o to. Czyli on w tą szatą utożsamia, wnosi całe to stworzenie kosmosu, czyli chyba tak to można nazwać, zaraz się dopytam. So, did I understand properly that through this wearing that cloak, you are representing, it's a symbol of the highest, the first creation of the light force, how the universes were created? Is it resemblance of that?
Yes, and it's also an ongoing channeling experience of using the power of the reference to those letters and the connections and the 72 names. I forgot to mention, or I didn't get to mention yet, that these are actually 72 permutations, which I teach breath works through them. There's pronunciations that go with them. We can actually do one right now. This one right here, it's called, we'll make it practical here. This one is called Yud, 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 okay? And the sound vibration is a masculine vibration. There's another one called Hey, 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 which is a feminine vibration, female vibration. Yud, Yud is one of the letters in the Tetragrammaton in the creation force, and it goes like this. And we'll do it together.
Hold on one second, I will just translate real quick. Więc to ten płaszcz jest też po to, żeby że jest to też stałe połączenie z tym centrum tworzenia i pomaga mu to w channelingu tych energii kosmicznych, używa do tego oddechu, wibracji i on właśnie chce nam zaprezentować tutaj jedną wibrację męską i żeńską. Okay, let's go for those vibrations, how it sounds.
Okay, great. So this particular sound is going to activate more of your active energy, more of the ability to achieve your goals, more the ability of being able to turn your thoughts and your process into an active cycle so that you can achieve the things you want, so that you can feel your energy intelligence and your consciousness turning into a more solid reality in front of you so you can experience your creative God force inside. Is that good or what? Yes or yes, right? So let's experience that together.
It is. I will just tell people what that means for this, ten dźwięk, który on teraz właśnie prezentuje wam, to jest osiąganie, bardziej męska energia, osiąganie celu w świecie, kreowanie na poziomie materii. Okay.
Okay, good. All right. So the letters are going to be called U, U, U. We're going to say it together. Everyone that's watching this, whether you're watching this live or on the replay or anytime in the future, it's just as powerful. You can do it again and again. And it's very simple. We say together these letters, and that's how it's written. Let me go ahead and show it to you. We're actually
Prosi
doing
o
this.
powiedzenie słów you, you.
That's right. U, U, U. This one.
You, you.
And it is, as you can see, it's the tiniest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. You can see how small they are. There's 3 of them, the same thing. And it looks like almost the semen, right? It looks very small. And it's the nano level of making impact. It's like changing the genetic seed of something, and then the entire tree changes. So we're going to shift from within, activating the root cause and allowing it to grow all the way to the fruit. And let's do it together. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale twice as long.
Ziarna poprzez ten oddech. On teraz właśnie to robi.
And you. Now, if you do it properly, which takes some practice, part of what happens is you begin to take a deep breath in all the way down into the lowest part of your abdomen, all the way through towards like literally like your groins. And then you draw the breath up and you, as you say, you like that, the breath comes out and you can feel this vibration through this part of your being. It's kind of hard for some people to feel that over the recording because the microphone might not necessarily exemplify exactly what that sounds like. But if you're sitting next to me and you were to place your hand on my heart or my throat, you will hear a vibration like this. You would sense that frequency. Now, I invite everyone to put your hands on your own set.
Please hold on. I cannot keep going. Muszę jednak tutaj zatrzymać, ponieważ nie jestem w stanie tutaj przetłumaczyć tak szybko. On mówi, że jeżeli nauczycie się to robić właściwie, używając oddechu i tych liter, no sami też wiemy, że słowa, śpiew jest bardzo leczące, uzdrawiające, to wtedy powinno to dojść do takiego momentu, że czujecie wibrację tutaj na poziomie gardła i rzeczywiście ten dźwięk, który będziecie emanować, wyrażać, zacznie wibrować tutaj. Okay, you go ahead.
Phenomenal. You're awesome. So exciting when I hear you actually say it. It's just like, it feels so good. It feels like a dance.
I just want to interrupt you, because otherwise,
it's all good. It's all good. And so now we're going to do this again. We'll do the 3 U's together so we make this teaching very practical, okay? This time, I want everyone to blink your eyes as you do it. This will make the unconscious more conscious and the conscious more unconscious. It'll connect you. Place your hand on a part of your body that feels it needs love or attention, okay? And also, what you want to do is feel your frequency of the vibration through your chest as you say the letters. So we'll go together.
Wait, nobody knows what to do. Wait.
We're simple. We're taking a deep breath in and exhaling with a U sound. Good. Okay. Deep breath in, exhaling with a U sound, and blinking your eyes. Is that okay?
Wait, I have to tell that to Polish.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Shahin się troszkę zapomniał.
I thought we did that. Sorry. Go for it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to stop this way. On proponuje to zrobić raz jeszcze, te osoby, które nie znają języka, żeby zrobić to i mrugać oczami i położyć rękę na sercu, wysyłając jakby energię tam, gdzie potrzebujemy najwięcej uwagi, czy to jest miłość, czy po prostu uwaga. Now, please do this.
Awesome. All right. So, we're going to take a deep breath and blink together and say the word you. I'll start all over again. Ready? You.
Okay, you did it on a 3 levels.
And as you do it 3 times, it's pretty incredible. If you just get into it, you'll experience a certain bliss after a minute. Your right brain, left brain gets synced together. When you do it from the depth of your being, you begin to feel a level of tension being released, bottled up energy coming out. Your mouth, when you go like that, it's the perfect restriction between talking and not talking. It's exactly in the middle, right? It gets you in a state where you're not speaking all the way, but you're also not speaking, which means restriction. What that means is just like the light bulb, it has a plus and a minus. We talked about this before, and you take the plus and hit it to the minus, you get an extreme amount of light and then a short circuit. Whereas with this, we're activating the in-between aspect of our being, the meditative part, which is rarely accessed, And that is just like taking the plus and the minus in a light bulb, but adding that filament that a lamp has, a little thin wire that doesn't allow the two to fully touch, and then you get lasting, consistent light. Right?
Powiem to swoimi słowami. Mówi, że ten dźwięk, którą teraz też zauważcie, że to jest w bardzo wielu różnych tradycjach. It reminds me of yoga a little bit too. It's a lot of traditions are having a similarity. I jeśli robicie to dobrze, ktoś też pytał o to, jak wprowadzać się też w stan radości, doświadczenia właśnie relaksacji. Te dźwięki, które on proponuje, one są niezwykle relaksujące, uwalniające napięcie z ciała i też wprowadzają w pewien stan uniesienia po dłuższym czasie praktykowania ich na pewno. I to jest tak, jak właśnie zapalanie tej żarówki, kiedy te plusy, minusy łączą się i tutaj wprowadza to też, jest to dobre dla tych osób, które zaczynają medytować, żeby przed medytacją użyć też własnej wibracji, własnego dźwięku, że to też wpływa na nasze ciało. Jak ktoś coś tutaj, to proszę dotłumaczyć. I hope I did translate that slightly good.
That was awesome, Joanna. Thank you so much. Thank you again for all this beautiful service. And so that was a little aspect of the 72 permutations. Now, the 72 permutations has been lost for the ages, right? Even the rabbis and other teachers that do know the Hebrew and the Aramaic letters have lost contact of how to actually use those permutations on a daily basis. So it has been taught to several students throughout history that were trusted to carry this lineage and to teach it at the right time, at the right place, to the right people. A lot of the teachings also comes to you when you're ready, right? So it's not a degree and it's not a credential and it's not something that you can go to school and just be like, haha, I learned it all. It's more of an internal vibe, an internal mechanism that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So if you're listening to this, no matter from what calling, what part of life you come from, what country, what political background, what religion, if you're hearing this, there's a vibration that's moving within you and it's calling you back to Adam and Eve, or the beginning of all creation, the first aspect of the light, so you can reconnect with your essence and your being before the division of all of these confusing elements that created lack of integration and fragmentations.
Can you explain these permutations? Because I have no idea how to explain that in Polish language. Is it about allowance, allowing something, permutations, what they are?
Permutations are actually using sound vibrations to bring together elements that are disintegrated by doing the disintegrated letters integration, by bringing it together on the external outside force through these letters. We actually access an integration inside ourselves because the letters themselves are the mirror of the total image of the soul and the emotions that we have inside ourselves. So by doing it on an external level, we activate it on an internal level and do parts integration.
Z tego co rozumiem, te permitacje, nie wiem jak to przetłumaczyć, jeśli ktoś może mi pomóc, to będę bardzo, słuchajcie, wdzięczna. Te 72 permitacji, o których on tutaj wspomniał, to są jakby takie emanacje, jeśli mogę tak to przetłumaczyć, które łączą to, co w środku z kreacją, z manifestacją tego, co na zewnątrz i na odwrót. I one, czyli ten dźwięk, te elementy, litery, one zostały utracone w różnych przekazach od początku powstania uniwersów. I te nauki w tej chwili gdzieś tam są od dawien dawna przekazywane, niewielu uczniów je tak naprawdę poznało i jak nie ma takich szkół generalnie, gdzie można się tego nauczyć, ale jeśli ta osoba, która się otwiera na tą wiedzę, jest gotowa, to część tej wiedzy jest poprzez, można powiedzieć, channeling, jeśli dobrze mówię, że jest to wewnętrzna wibracja, która wraca nas do samego początku, pierwotnie, jak to wszystko się wydarzyło, czyli on tutaj wspomina właśnie o tego pierwszego, pierwotnego stworzenia uniwersów. Okay, I think I got it.
Super.
So we explained that part, and it took us some time with all the translation. Now, what about this one? Because in Poland already there were a few people that saw something similar. Can you tell us how is it called? What is it about?
Okay, so first I'm going to tell everyone, first I'm going to talk about several levels of what it could mean to different people, okay? And then I'll tell you what it means to me and what I've learned about it through the angelic teachings, through my teachers, and through the transmission of this connection. So many people wear coverings in the world, right? You can see Muslims cover their heads. You can see Arabs. You can see the Pope will wear a little something like a white cloth. You can see Jews. They wear something called the kippah. You'll see Sikhs, right? I lived in Los Angeles and I used to hang around with like yoga teachers like Guru Singh and many different teachings have these coverings, right? And each one will have their own explanation of what it means to them, okay? From the perspective of the teachings of Adam, all the way to the teachings of the Zohar, to the teachings of Abraham, to the teachings of Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aharon, David, Solomon, all the way to the Ari, which actually yesterday was his passing on to another dimension anniversary. He lived physical universe 400 years ago almost. These teachings through my teachers have taught me that
Who lived 400 years?
Yes, 400 years ago,
oh.
Right? The Ari, his name was Ari of Sfat. He was a mystical teacher that at 13, he had the entire Zohar in his being, and he only lived till 37, and he wrote more than 20 books on the topic, and he passed on to another dimension. Now, the Ari eventually taught other teachers, and those teachers eventually showed up in my life and taught me these mystical teachings in unique private places, okay? Now, the most powerful part of this, okay, is called the restriction. The restriction means that, and I talked about this yesterday at the expo, and I'm going to be speaking about it also live with Jack Canfield, Les Brown in the coming week in a speaker program where we're going to be sharing the stage to empower the world through both business branding and soul code. But this concept is so powerful that I repeat it a lot, especially right now because we're also moving through the month of Cancer and Leo. We are right now on the 6th day of Leo in the lunar calendar. If you look at your iPhone, activate the Hebrew language, you'll see that Hebrew calendar. So the 6th day, and until from the time of the 17th of the lunar Cancer till the 9th of Leo, we go through a almost like a 21-day period almost, where, by the way, 21 is a powerful place for change. And all of these Kabbalistic holidays have 21-day sequences of 42 sequences or 72 sequences. And these 21 days, the idea is that the light of Zeir Anpin, the light of the sun, is so powerful that the ozone layer is taken off, and we need to learn how to experience it without getting fried, okay? So to speak. You can use the sun kind of like a metaphor, right? And so the light of the soul is so powerful for the physical body that the physical body does not really deserve this powerful light of the soul. But why do we have this amazing, awesome soul? It's because we might have a chance to be able to fully express it through the body. Maybe. Rarely some get to do that throughout their life, right?
I am lost, Shahin. I am slightly lost here, and I will tell you why. I will try to translate this. Because you started to talk about light of sun, you switch into astrology and Kabbalistic numbers. Just,
a lot of concepts in one.
I love everything you're saying, just for the purpose of, a little bit,
make it a little bit lighter.
Just this adjustment this time for me and for
especially with the
those who
translation.
don't speak English, because they are going to have a less translation. Więc znów zatrzymałam trochę Shahina, ponieważ temat się rozpływa i ja też mam taką tendencję do dygresji, jak to widać, no ale wszystko, co mówi, jest ciekawe i mogłabym pociągnąć te tematy. On zaczął mówić w tej chwili o tej plakietce, o tej, ja to nazywam płytą CD, ale nie jest to płyta CD oczywiście, nakrycia głowy. Miał powiedzieć o tym, jakie mają to znaczenia, jakie są znaczenie tego, jakie ma osobiste znaczenie dla niego, i że te nakrycia głowy są w różnych kulturach i wiemy, i w yoga, gurus, i osób pochodzenia żydowskiego, i papieże mają, każdy ma swoje, w każdej kulturze to jest, i mówi, teraz zaczął o tej perspektywie Adama do Zachara, Abrahama, Mozes, i wspomniał Ari, mówiąc, że ten święty żył 400 lat. Tutaj można byłoby się dopytać więcej oczywiście. Mówi o pierwszym znaczeniu, które oznacza jakieś ograniczenia, i zaraz się o to dopytam, ponieważ skręcił troszeczkę na astrologię i o tym, że jesteśmy właśnie w momencie takiej transformacji, kiedy wchodzimy w tym kalendarzu od raka do lwa, i tutaj zaczął mówić, słuchajcie, o świetle, podniesieniu tej płaszczyzny ozonowej i jak korzystać ze słońca, żeby nie zostać spalony, czy to energią, czy nie. Ja bym mogła tego wrócić, więc bardzo Was proszę, słuchajcie, o pytania i te rzeczy, które są dla Was najważniejsze, te, które chcielibyście się dowiedzieć. I tak samo wszystko, co tutaj zostaje powiedziane, proszę wyważać. Ja Wam chcę po prostu pokazać tutaj od innej strony, od każdej strony, żeby, tak jak wiecie, promować ten zdrowy rozsądek i podejścia z różnych stron, żeby była komunikacja, pozytywna komunikacja. Zapytam się raz jeszcze o tą plakietkę, co to dla niego oznacza. All right, Shahin, let's come back to the meaning of this. Sorry, I'm going to keep on the point here a little bit.
All right.
What does it mean for you?
The point. So the idea is that we are creating a conscious awareness that the light of the soul is so expansive, not just expensive, expansive, and we want the awareness. And we want the awareness that we're constantly flowing the light of the soul through our physical body. And as some of us have learned, and I've taught in my past teachings, that the light of Keter, the light of the crown chakra, so to speak, in today's language, Catherian, needs to make peace with the light of the body. And let me give you a metaphor for that. So let's take
peace with. It has to make a peace with.
Peace. The light of the soul needs to make peace with the light of the body, because they're opposites. Okay, the soul is all about wholeness. It's full experience, no time, space, motion, no chaos, full illumination, right? The body is all about doubts, physical ailments, chaos, loss, death consciousness, duality, torn apart in different pieces, fragmentations. So therefore, how does the amazing creator and creation, how does it give us a soul to exist in such an opposite environment and habitat as the body? How is that going to work together, right? To help us understand that, I'm going to give you the metaphor of the kettle. The kettle is, is that wonderful thing you put on your stove, and you pour water into it, and you light the fire, and through the metal that exists around this kettle, it allows the fire element to make peace with the water element and make you some hot water, tea, or coffee. Does that make sense? Now, what would happen if you just pour the hot water on top of fire? It wouldn't work, right? Again, you'd get a short circuit, right? So the kettle is a necessary component. Now, it just happens to be that in Farsi, the word for kettle is ketri, which is the same language as keter, which is the same language as crown chakra, okay? So just, I guess, Creator put that there to help us out here, the metaphor. So what we see is that in order for the light of the soul to illuminate the body, we need a force, that peacemaker called restriction. That force, that peacemaker called restriction, allows the light of the soul not to burn or overburden the body, so that the body can, through the 10 dimensions, the 10 spheroids of reality, can slowly but surely absorb, illuminate, and take part of this beautiful light of the soul in a way that's comprehensible in the physical reality for manifestation. And so this is not just symbolic, but it actually helps to slow down the process so it can be absorbable instead of receive so much, not be able to handle it, and then go into suppression and depression. That's the idea. Now, there's more to it, how it's made out of like gold on top, and it's got the Hebrew letters around it, and there's like the patterns that are the, you know, the variety of patterns that are on it. That's a whole different story that I could discuss later. But for now, that's how far I'm going to go into it. And while you translate, I'm going to open up for the first time this set of Zohar in your honor and in honor of these teachings while you translate.
All right.
Open up the packaging. Go for it.
Fantastic. Więc on teraz właśnie otwiera sobie książkę, którą dostał Zohar i być może powie nam więcej, ale wracając do tego nakrycia głowy, ponieważ to tak się nazywa, że jest to ograniczenie. I zaraz dlaczego, o co chodzi? Dał tutaj piękną metaforę, że to, co przepływa z kosmosu jako dusza, jest zawsze pełna, ekspansywna, nie ma tam chaosu, a ciało jest zawsze w opozycji do tego, czyli ciało reprezentuje to, co jest wątpliwości, umieranie, świadomość śmierci, zawsze jest fragmentaryzacja i podział. I teraz ta tutaj plakietka, ona ogranicza, jest takim wspomagaczem pokoju między jedną energią a drugą, między duszą a ciałem, i mówi, że pyta się, jak Stwórca mógł dopuścić do czegoś takiego, że albo właśnie to ciało jest takie biedne, ograniczone, a tam jest ta dusza, która jest wszechobecna i to się razem nie spotyka. I podał tutaj metaforę czajnika, czyli że te elementy ognia, wody i metalu, one też w jakiś sposób dochodzą do transformacji, do tworzenia czegoś pozytywnego, czyli na przykład mamy gotującą się wodę na herbatę i możemy się potem napić jej, i że postawienie na piecu, czyli ten element ognia, samej wody by po prostu nie podziałało. Musi być ten element metalu, i to jest ten element metalu, który on ma na głowie, który pomoże w dobry sposób, spokojnie nadać temu formy, zamienić tą wodę na coś, z czego mamy tak naprawdę pożytek. I teraz na czakrę korony to jest właśnie to ograniczenie, ogranicza to po to, żeby nie tyle co nadać właśnie pokój między spotkaniem się tej duszy z ciałem, żeby połączyć to w spokojny sposób, ale też żeby właśnie osoby, które bardzo szybko gdzieś właśnie odczuwają, wchodzą w różne stany, żeby nie spaliły się od nadmiaru tego wszystkiego, dlatego że ciało nie może tego być może pomieścić jeszcze, i to spowalnia na tyle, żeby ten proces rozwoju był stabilny, bezpieczny, spokojny, i też żeby nie było takich skutków ubocznych, jeśli ktoś miał może, że też wchodzi w jakieś warsztaty, bardzo wysokie stany i potem wraca do domu i taki była depresja, więc to też zabezpiecza od tego, żeby nie wpaść w stany bardzo niskie depresji, nie zwariować i mówi, że to jest zrobione akurat jego, tutaj on mi też powiedział, że ktoś dla niego to zrobił. Jest to ze złota, pozłacane i ma to też pewnego rodzaju wzory. Jeśli będziecie ciekawi, to on na pewno o tym opowie. Jeśli ktoś zapyta, to Shahin bardzo chętnie wam wszystko opowie. I ma też oczywiście te hebrajskie litery, które mają dla niego i też znaczenie z racji jego kultury, z racji tego, kim jest. All right, I think I did it so far. So
Yes,
now we go to this part.
Yes.
What
Okay.
does it mean for you?
Okay. So
Czerwona nitka.
this is a thread, okay, that is tied around the left arm. And those who are more familiar also with the Tefilin is called Phylacteries in English. It's a binding that we do around the left arm since the time of Moses. It's been passed down to those who follow the teachings, especially the men, because the men have more of a desire to receive for the self alone, and men have more, the masculine nature has more of a need to transform the ego-based, egocentric aspect of reality. As a result, the male or masculine nature aspect of the human being, what we do is we bind the left column of the body, the left hand energy of the body, in order to reduce the desire to receive for the self alone, because the left side of the body is about receiving, all right? The right side of the body is about sharing. This is actually science, not just spirituality. And so the left side of the body is more prone to receiving the good and the negative forces. And this means, by the way, if you're holding your phone, it's better to hold it in your right hand than your left hand, because the bad transmission of that phone is more received, more of it comes through your body if you do it through your left hand. So I highly recommend use your right hand, or just don't use your hand at all.
Sorry, is it also for people who are left-handed or the other way around?
If you're left-handed, then your right hand, right? Because the heart and the brain are wired differently for left-handed people. That's a different conversation, but left-handed people have a different aspect of judgment and mercy than right-handed people. So it's a whole different conversation, but thank you for that question. So now what we have two elements. One is the tefillin, that the men that have learned this art of how to put it on, the phylacteries, and there's one on the head, one on the heart, to bind the head and the heart and the arm together so that we could receive for the sake of sharing, not just to the desire to hold on to it in attachment, to release that attachment and let it go through us with circuitry. And then the second thing is this. This string is wrapped around the gravesite of Rachel, Rachel. Rachel was the wife of Jacob, who represented the chariot of the ability to share the light of the upper world in the most physical format to people in a way that they understand it, right? So she had sublime teachings, but she was able to give it over in a way that's understand through the beauty of the physical universe.
Wait a second.
That's why she...
Yes. Raphael, you are talking about archangel, or you are talking about something different?
Great question. Rachel was an actual
Rachel, okay, not Raphael.
Rachel,
right?
Rachel. Yes, Rachel. And she actually lived, and at the same time, her soul transcends every generation, especially in the month of Scorpio, and she appears and helps people. And her gravesite is in Israel, where they wrap this red thread around her gravesite with a special prayer called the Anabakoach. And then by wearing it, it assists us through the intention of Rachel to help us not to receive so much of the negative transmission of energy, evil eye, people's looks, those looks, you know, when someone looks at you and they're not really happy for you with what you have, right? So it helps us to create a shield. We know about that, right? I'm always being seen in the public eye. So I'm always guarding my energy, right? Send good eye, always giving good people good intentions and trying to my best to only receive that which is good. And so one way to protect yourself is to bind something on your left arm, especially if it's red, so that the energy of the red can draw that amount of eyes that's being thrown at you, and instead of the negativity hitting you, it can hit the string, and eventually where it breaks, that's when you know you've got enough transmission, because we know physicality is not solid reality, and eventually you'll get another one, So now the idea is, we got to get the idea. It's not about the red. It's not about just the thread. It's about what it stands for energetically, right? And that's one concept. And then we have another concept, which is the idea that that whatever is hidden from the eye grows, okay? We have Rachel, and her son's name was Yosef, or Joseph, the son of Jacob. And we're not talking about the Joseph, the son of Jacob, that's related to Jesus. This is way before that time. This is 1,500 years before that, the original Joseph, right? And the original Joseph, God blessed him with a special blessing, and the blessing was Ben Porat Yosef, Benot Saadeh Alei Shor. The blessing was that you, Joseph, and anyone that connects with your energy center will be able to have the ability to go beyond other people's eyes that drag you down. You'll be able to overcome the evil eye. And Joseph is the month of Pisces, which is the fish. And the reason the fish multiplies so much symbolically and physically is because they are underwater, right? That means the human eye and other species can't look at them directly. And as a result, symbolically, they get to multiply. So the blessing comes to everything that's hidden from the eyes. Now, there are times when you need to reveal yourself, and that is when you need to teach, when you need to help the world, when you need to be a good role model. Those are times when you should come out. But any other times other than that, we need to be very careful about showing off, making other people feel less than because of your car or your money or your beauty or your looks or your family dynamics. Whatever it is that you have that's your virtue, keep it to yourself. Keep it hidden. Only come out and help when it's necessary, and go back to your beautiful hiding spot of maintaining your internal energy. And this brings me, by the way, to this epidemic that we're facing right now. And I wrote a book.
Please hold.
Yeah, you guys translate. Okay.
No, część z Was, słuchajcie, na pewno zrozumiała bardzo dużo. Ja tutaj się postaram. O tej nitce, co jest jeszcze ciekawego, bo Wy już wszystko wiecie, jeśli chodzi o te, właśnie tutaj tą tradycję, też część była na YouTubie też powiedziana też przez inne osoby i bardzo fajnie, jeszcze słuchajcie, Zygfryd o tym mówił. Ta czerwona nitka pochodzi od czasów też Mojżesza i często szczególnie była noszona, pierwszy aspekt to był dla mężczyzn, oni zawiązywano to na ręku, ponieważ mężczyźni zawsze mieli większą potrzebę transformowania swojego ego, by coś tam zredukować. Natomiast drugi aspekt to wychodzi od Rachel, nie od Rafaela, od Rachel, która rzeczywiście żyła i też ze specjalną modlitwą. Też wiązało się to na lewym ręku. Dlaczego lewa ręka? Oczywiście, że lewa ręka przyjmuje i wiadomo, że przyjmuje, skoro przyjmuje, to przyjmuje wszystko, i dobro, i zło, i pozytywne, i negatywne, a prawa ręka dzieli się, daje. I tutaj on mówił też, żeby uważać właśnie, jak rozmawiacie przez komórki, żeby trzymać bardziej przy prawym uchu, w prawym ręku niż w lewym. I zapytałam się też, czy to jest odwrotnie u osób leworęcznych. Mówi, że tak. I teraz ta energia, tutaj też mam nadzieję, że ktoś z Was jeszcze też w komentarzu dopisze, bo on to bardzo ładnie powiedział. Ja tak ładnie nie potrafię. Energia czerwonej nitki, ona działa, czyli ona jakby zabiera ten negatywizm, który jest w Was rzucany, czy też osoby właśnie, które pracują publicznie, są nauczycielami, czy mają po prostu taki zawód, że są medialnie widzialne ta nitka pochłania te negatywne energie takiego złego oka, od negatywnych myśli innych osób i ona też ma swoją wytrzymałość. I kiedy ta nitka, bo ona w pewnym momencie przerwie się i tutaj będziecie wiedzieli, wtedy to oznacza, że ta nitka jakby przyjęła już taką negatywną, taką ilość tej negatywnej energii, że no, musicie sobie zawiązać nową. Tak, kiedyś mi się to właśnie zdarzyło. I drugi, właśnie to był ten drugi koncept tej Rachel i jej mówił o synu Jacob. Did you say about Jacob or Joseph? Because I wrote it too.
Joseph, son of Jacob. Yes.
Joseph, son of Jacob.
Correct.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I am not really good with those, some of this mythology. I forgot a lot. It was.
You remembered a lot.
Yes, I remembered before. Son of Jacob is Joseph, and he was also son of Rachel.
That's right.
Okay.
Well. This is perfect.
Dobrze, to już taka właśnie tutaj ciekawostka. Ja dużo po prostu nie pamiętam z tego i Rachel, syn Jacoba, czyli ten Józef, i to był ten Józef, który nie był za czasów Jezusa, tylko ten wcześniejszy, podobno Bóg nadał mu takie błogosławieństwo, że on, dlatego wzywają pewnie tą Rachel, żeby mają tą modlitwę, kiedy zawiązują na nadgarstku tą czerwoną nitkę i Bóg nadał błogosławieństwo, że te osoby, które łączą się z energią Józefa, otrzymują to błogosławieństwo jemu nadane, żeby żadna zła energia do nich nie miała dostępu i żeby nie patrzono, żeby można było to ukryć. Teraz jeszcze się tutaj dopytam. You mentioned something about what is not seen to the eye, then it's not reached. It's not possible to send a negative energy to.
That's right. Whatever's hidden from the physical flesh eyes. That's right.
Cokolwiek nie jest widzialne dla innych osób, cokolwiek jest ukryte od fizycznego oka innych, to nie jest jakby sekret w sensie, żeby ukrywać, tylko to jest dla was cenne i to musi pozostać cenne. Czyli on tutaj mówi, że nie ma co się wychylać, jeśli nie jest się osobą publiczną i nie trzeba się chronić. Mówi o potrzebie ochrony swojej energii, ochrony siebie, kiedy za każdym razem, kiedy właśnie jest to też jakaś konferencja czy wyjście, kiedy wchodzicie w publiczność, w publikę jakichś tam ludzi, czy jest to impreza, czy uczycie kogoś, szczególnie właśnie nauczyciele, no ale też właśnie tak zwani celebryci, prawda, żeby nie dzielić się ze wszystkim, że to, co uważacie, że jest waszą zaletą, żeby zatrzymać dla siebie, żeby ukryć to, ponieważ to jest to cenne, w co inna osoba nie może uderzyć złym okiem. I on mówi o tej potrzebie, że jest to bardzo ważne, żeby nie, to też mamy właściwie w swojej kulturze, żeby też nie gadać o wszystkim, żeby nie paplać tak, o wszystkim, o swoich dobrych cechach, żeby trzymać po prostu jakiś tam w sobie więcej, żeby nikt nie mógł w nas uderzyć. I on o czymś takim właśnie mówi. Did you mention also that Rachel was also talking about this? Who said that? Is it also in your teaching, in this book of Genesis, that teaching to keep your virtues to yourself? Where is that coming from, that knowledge?
Yes, that is the teaching from Rachel to Joseph. So the teaching is to keep your highlights of your being and to yourself, unless there's a need to teach someone or be a role model. Otherwise, keep it as hidden energy.
Tak, to jest nauka tej Rachel, że to, co te highlights, tak zwane, te piękne rzeczy, których się nauczyliśmy, żeby zatrzymać dla siebie, żeby one nie były wystawione na publiczne. I to też rozwiązuje też dużo tej całej dezinformacji na temat sekretów i tak dalej. Zobaczcie, jakie to jest ważne, że to były te najstarsze nauki tej Rachel, żeby zatrzymać to dla siebie, dopóki nie macie uczniów, którzy są gotowi na tą wiedzę, którą można dalej przekazać, czyli są to osoby sprawdzone, są to osoby, którym warto coś przekazać. All right, I just mentioned, because there is a lot of misunderstanding about secrets. There is this theory that everything should be public, every knowledge should be public and not hidden, because if it's hidden, then it's evil, then it's wrong. But it actually makes sense, because if you have something important to share and you maintain it within yourself, it is a virtue, then you want to share that with people who will bring that knowledge forward to the right people that can also, not destroy this with the negativity.
That's right. We need to protect ourselves in that area. That's right. And sharing something before it becomes mature is risky also. Because, right? Because imagine someone goes and learns, takes one class with me and then is running out in the streets. Oh my God, it's amazing. I just learned this amazing thing one time, right? Or 2 weeks. Well, it's much more effective if you can internalize the teaching and it becomes really just bursting out of you with love to the point that people are just seeking and so curious about you now that they ask that question. And you're strong enough that when those doubtful types of people inject you with the disease of uncertainty, you're strong enough about your principles that you can answer with confidence instead of shattering with the first sign of doubt and ruining your own personal development. So these are
fantastic.
Really
I will translate.
Share
that. Podzielenie się czymś, kiedy nie jest to jeszcze dojrzałe w nas, czy w projekcie naszym, jest ryzykowne, dlatego że jeśli nie jesteśmy mocno ustabilizowani w to, co wierzymy, w to, co przynosimy światu, czy nawet w projekcie, czy coś się nie dokonało, jesteśmy bardziej podatni na to, że inni zainfekują nas swoimi wątpliwościami, czy podążamy właściwą ścieżką, dadzą nam tą wątpliwość. I dlatego to jest tak ważne i mam nadzieję, że to też odpowiada na to pytanie, no bo część tych różnych właśnie szkół, tych takich najstarszych, powiedziałabym, tradycji jest atakowana za to, że trzyma sekrety. I tutaj to jest ważne, żeby powiedzieć też dlaczego, że jest tutaj pewien cel. Ja nie mówię, że trzymanie całej wiedzy w sekrecie jest dobre, tylko chodzi o ten jeden aspekt. Okay, are you still with us?
Yes.
Fantastic. So you can now come back, and because we started this and I wanted you to ask a lot of things about Kabbalah, and you have amazing knowledge to share and amazing information, and probably we will have to do part 2 or part 3, and depending also what people would like to know.
Part 20 is the best.
Right. So maybe you can just, for the very end, for now, for today, share something about this Kabbalah, because that also draws a lot of different emotions within people. And some people say, oh my God, this is evil, this is wrong, this is bad, don't follow these teachings. What Kabbalah is, what is the core of that, to tell from your perspective, because you are in this tradition, you had many great teachers along your way, and I think that none of us should judge anyone's path before we know and learn most of it ourselves.
And so that's beautiful what you just said, really, to really experience something and to really delve into it before we actually at all even give opinions about it. That's great, First of all, this just came through me, so I'm going to read from these words just for a second to channel through. And I opened the first page of this Zohar that I just opened for your teaching show.
I would just tell that wspomniałam o tym, że dla każdy pochodzi z nas z innej tradycji i myślę, że bardzo ważne jest, żebyśmy zanim coś osądzimy też, i bardzo dobrze, że słuchajcie, wy też zwróciliście na to uwagę, ja za to bardzo dziękuję, żeby zanim osądzać coś, popatrzeć głębiej, postudiować te nauki głębiej, żeby zobaczyć, co tam naprawdę jest. Że dopiero wtedy możemy sobie jakąś tam opinię wyrobić i też wziąć to, co nam pasuje, czy albo zostawić to po prostu. Też nie trzeba z tym nic robić. Shahin przeczyta coś w tym języku, żebyście mogli poczuć, zobaczyć, jaka to jest wibracja. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so this just came to me. I opened up this page. I'm going to read. This is the Aramaic language that I'm reading directly from the Zohar. מאש, מרוח, ממים, מעפר, שנאמר, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום ורוח אלוהים. אלו הם הדלת דברים הנזכרים. Okay. This section is talking about the four elements of earth and creation and the sound elements inside it. And suddenly this thing came to me that I would like to give everyone some gifts. Okay. I would like to directly give everyone some gifts from my store. Okay, so everyone can benefit from it. So a little window trickled down in me and said, just give some gifts to everyone so everyone can benefit. So I'm going to give everyone this beautiful 5 gifts that I'm going to put together on this hidden link, and I'll tell you how you can get it. I'll send you the link and you can download all 5 gifts, but I want to tell you what's inside these gifts. The first one is Recreate Your Destiny. It's a powerful Kabbalistic meditation that you listen to, and maybe for those of you who understand the vibration through the music of it, that everyone can get, no matter, it's like universal. There is spoken Aramaic and Hebrew and English inside this meditation. If for those of you who want more from it in terms of translation, maybe Johanna can translate that meditation in the future too. We'll see. Or maybe there's a way through, Google, you can get some of the translations. There's ways to do that. And then I'm also going to include in this powerful meditation 2 tickets to my 2-hour VIP in-depth text-based Zohar learning, where we do massive breakthroughs through a group. And gift number 3 would be that you would get a 15-day access to Secret Source movies, which Joanna is part of also, where I post on a weekly basis powerful films on the topic from the manuscripts, ancient manuscripts unearthed like never seen before, and you get to have all of that.
Time for it to watch, but that's gonna happen.
So yeah, you got to take advantage of it. So there's 2 more gifts on there. That's 5 gifts. And to get the gift, I'm just going to make it simple. All you have to do is, let me just look at this one thing.
So before you do that, I will translate that, and we quickly come back to this definition of Kabbalah, so maybe you can say something more about it. Bo słuchajcie, on wam oferuje tutaj prezenty. Mówi o tym całym elemencie kreacji Ziemi i chce wam dać możliwość, jak to naprawdę wygląda, czyli w medytacji, no bo te słowa jakby nie oddają tego wszystkiego, czyli ja załączę te linki po prostu i też zobaczcie, co to jest, i też ja proszę was o informację zwrotną, czy to jest coś w ogóle dla was. I ta medytacja jest po angielsku, aramejsku i hebrajsku. Tutaj mówi jeszcze o jakiejś tam właśnie wejściu do jego, on ma jako taką grupę prywatną też na Facebooku, ja to po prostu wszystko załączę, jeśli będziecie mieli więcej pytań, no to na pewno się do tego ustosunkuję, on i ja też. Okay, so what do you have there?
Okay, great. So to get the gift, I'm just going to make it really simple. All you do is send a text to 1-786-540-9820. Again, phone number is 1-786-540-9820. And then I'll go ahead and send you this hidden link that I'm going to create just for you, so you can go ahead and download all of these powerful gifts and become a member of that. For those of you who are living in different countries that this access code might be difficult for you to send that, I'm going to give you also an email. It's Shahin Jedian42@gmail.com. ShahinJedian42@gmail.com. And I will go ahead and send you this powerful, amazing 5 gifts hidden page. Don't share the page obviously online with people because it's just for you. It will say hidden link. You click on it, you'll be able to have access to all these links and connect with those groups and the connections, and to be able to connect with my teachings. And if you're listening to this and you get that resonating feeling that it's time to take that action, do it. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, right? And this is, Joanna always says this in her shows. I think it's so important.
I'm always warning people. I am always doing that also, and it is not anything against you, but I'm also warning because not every teaching is for everyone. Even if I think this doesn't need a translation because it's obviously for those who are speaking English. Ja tutaj nie będę tego tłumaczyła. Jeśli ktoś ma ochotę i właśnie mówi po angielsku, to zobaczycie. I powtarzam zawsze to samo, co sobie i mówię, że to nie jest nic przeciwko niemu. Ale ja zawsze jestem za ostrożnością wchodzenia w pewne energie, jeśli się nie ma zrozumienia i nie wszystko jest dla nas dobre. Czasami warto jest po prostu zobaczyć, poznać, ale też zobaczyć, czy to was wspiera. I on tak samo tutaj mówi, że jeśli to was nie będzie wspierało, no to zostawcie to po prostu i nie kontynuujcie tego, tylko dla tych osób, które gdzieś mają takie poczucie, czy jest to ich droga. Okay, so the last thing for today, can you, Shahin, tell me about Kabbalah? Because this is what we actually started to talk about, but I really wanted to know about.
Well, everything we talked about has something to do with it. So
it definitely, yes, but in a short definition, what Kabbalah really is.
Okay, so the word Kabbalah comes from the word receiving, right? It comes from the openness of really how much happiness and the light of the Creator can you handle, essentially. To be able to receive the endless light of the Creator through the energy centers of our being. Now, in many languages, it's the same word. Like in Farsi, the word Kabbalah would be Qabul or Kabbalah, right? It means to receive, to accept the gift, right? In Arabic, it would be the same thing. Qabul, Maqbul, right? Or Qabil means someone who feels deserving of the light. Now, in some chaotic reality somewhere out there, I've also heard the word Kabal, right? A lot coming up. And that is completely separate from this wisdom, although it rhymes. I don't know exactly where it comes from, how it's wording around, but from the teaching and the perspective that I'm teaching, this has nothing to do with that. Okay? It's important to differentiate. Yes.
I will translate that. Słowo Kabbalah oznacza przejmowanie i jaką pojemność my mamy na przyjmowanie światła Stwórcy. Ile jesteśmy w stanie przyjąć, otrzymać, zaakceptować światła, na ile my myślimy, że zasługujemy na to światło, czyli jest to rozumiane, Kabbalah oznacza akceptację daru Stwórcy w nas, na ile jesteśmy gotowi. Okej, i nie ma to nic wspólnego z Kabbalah, tym drugim czymś, tworem, czy nie wiem, ja przepraszam, ale akurat nie znam też wszystkich informacji, ale jest to całe Kabbalah i tutaj pewne te pojęcia są mylone po prostu. My mówimy o tym słowo Kabbalah, z Farsi jest podobnie kabun i to jest właśnie akceptowanie daru. Okay. Would you like to say something more to us before we go?
Yes, I guess I would love to do that. I think I'll leave everyone with a encapsulated general message that remember to breathe, right? Remember to be in the moment. Remember that your breath is the most powerful thing that you have, and that each time you take a deep breath and blink your eyes, you can make this as an anchor to come back into the now. Remember that the past is just memory. The future has not arrived yet, so it's not worth worrying so much about. 98% of your worries and problems and fears and anxieties never happen, right? So wouldn't it be worth it to really be more in the moment, plan for the future, have goals, but don't be so attached to them. Care about your memories, release the past, but don't let them drown you. And that would be a message that I want to leave you with, along with other tools that you can obviously get if you want to enhance your teachings. I've written books like 40 Days in Quarantine, that I just wrote 3 months ago, Divine Prescription for Life. It's all about discovering your life's purpose. Did you want to say something?
Yes, congratulations on that one. But I will do that for English-speaking people. We will have everything under the video, so that's great.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. And hopefully Joanna will, translate more of some of these works, maybe 1 or 2 pages of each book, the central teachings, so we can have it more in the Polish language, European language, other languages, maybe in Asian, Polish. We've already have in a lot of videos and teachings in Farsi, Hebrew, Aramaic, English. And so, yeah, I'm very excited for bringing more to all these other languages. And that's an absolute wonderful reality and a dream at the same time. And this journey is becoming the destination. So it's wonderful. And thank you so much, Joanna, for putting the work and being a channel for this spreading of this light for today. And also, I'm grateful to the Live the Creator for letting us so fluidly be able to communicate. And I want to thank also Joseph, my friend who introduced us together. So,
Joseph, thank you too. Okay, thank you so much for today. Let me real quick translate this. Your words agree with mine, because that's what we more or less promoting here, the common sense and all you mentioned. Więc zapytałam się go tylko, czy jeszcze miałby dla Was jakieś przesłanie od siebie na dzień dzisiejszy. Bardzo dużo osób też się pyta o ten rozwój i cały czas są jakieś tam właśnie pytania takie już nawet techniczne i każdy jest też na innym poziomie tutaj, znaczy poziomie, no można tak nazwać czasami, czy w innej fazie po prostu, na innym takim po prostu w innej fazie, powiedzmy. I mówi, tak samo wychodzi od tego oddechu. Pamiętajcie moment, w którym wasz oddech był najbardziej twórczy, najsilniejszy, żeby do tego powracać i żeby uwalniać tą przeszłość, że to wspomnienie, żeby uwalniać te bolesne sprawy, które zaistniały w naszej przeszłości, że jest to bardzo ważne i że 90% właśnie z tych różnych strachów, które mamy w życiu, one się zazwyczaj nigdy nie przytrafiają, mimo że ta emocja też przyciąga pewne rzeczy, to 90% z nich nigdy się nam nie przytrafi. I żeby też żeby planować swoją przyszłość, ale właśnie też nie przywiązywać się, żeby pomagać innym, ale nie przywiązywać się, żeby nie być pod tym pogrążonym przez to całe przywiązanie. No i ja też właśnie dziękuję, poznałam Shahina dzięki mojemu innemu znajomemu też z Los Angeles, Josephowi, więc też dziękuję bardzo i myślę, że na dzisiaj, słuchajcie, to wszystko, czekam na Wasze pytania. I nie, ja niestety przepraszam, ale nie będę tłumaczyła, bo słuchajcie, z tym moim tłumaczeniem jest, przepraszam bardzo, ale jest jak jest, tak mi po prostu wychodzi, staram się i liczę tutaj na Was i liczę też na osoby, które lubią tłumaczyć, zgłaszajcie się, ja nie jestem tłumaczem. Ja zawsze będę musiała o tym po prostu powtarzać, że ja nie tłumaczę na co dzień, ja albo piszę po angielsku, albo piszę po polsku i to tyle, a tłumaczenie po prostu to jest tak, że jak ja tłumaczyłam pierwsze swoje teksty, to one, sama się zastanawiałam, co miałam na myśli, więc tak wygląda moje tłumaczenie. Teraz jest troszeczkę lepiej. Dziękuję Wam, pozdrawiam Was wszystkich bardzo serdecznie. I'm greeting you very warmly and sunny from here. Until the next time, thank you, bye bye.
Dziękuję, salam, shalom.
Salam, shalom.